ni Kristo.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever it is, wherever you are. Wherever you are right now, though, is here with us on INCRadio Virginia. It is Saturday, April 27, 4:02 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 3:02 Central. My name is Brother RJ Garantina from the local congregation of Chesapeake, Virginia. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we continue, your reminder to keep commenting in the live chat for our ongoing hashtag challenge here on INCRadio Virginia, so we can see who is the most active and supportive local congregation in the district. Let's find out the results from last week's episode. Kuya Tech, please play the hashtag video. Here are the results of the INCRadio Virginia hashtag challenge for the episode from April 20th, 2024. For fifth place, it's the local congregation of Chesapeake, Virginia. In fourth place, we have the local congregation of Raleigh, North Carolina. Coming in at third place, it's the local congregation of Norfolk, Virginia. In second place is the local congregation of High Point, North Carolina. And in first place is the local congregation of Charlotte, North Carolina. Congratulations to all the winners. Who will win next week? Keep commenting in the live chat with your hashtag for a chance to appear on our leaderboards. Congratulations again to our top 5 for last week's episode, which is, again, Chesapeake, Raleigh, Norfolk, High Point, and Charlotte, who will take away the top 5 for this week. I already see a lot of our viewers in the chat. I see Huntsville and Cedar Bluff. I see Charlotte hoping to keep that number 1 spot here. But as the episode started, I saw a bunch of Norfolk just start coming in. So let's see if they can keep up their spots as well. But before we continue, now is our time to see what's going on throughout our district. So let's see our CFO in action segment. Kuya Tech, please play our CFO in action video.
CFO in action.
Last week, there was a shooter response training seminar held at the Virginia Beach Chapel. The Virginia Beach Sheriff Department visited and presented best practices on what to do in emergency situations. The brethren felt very informed and much more prepared to protect themselves and the house of worship.
CFO in action.
This weekend, firefighter appreciation activities are being held throughout the district as part of the INC Giving Project. The day, time, and location of this activity will vary per local congregation. So, please reach out to your local officers for more information.
CFO in action.
Next weekend, our district will be celebrating CFO Day. Fun activities are planned for each Christian family organization, so every member of the family is sure to enjoy. Please reach out to your local officers for details of when and where your activity will be held.
CFO in action.
So there you have it. We have a lot of things happening and have been happening in the District of Virginia. So you don't want to miss out on it. Make sure, especially CFO Day is going to be a great activity. Please reach out to your CFO officers for more information. That leads us now to our episode of INCRadio Virginia today. We have some special guests with us. I'd like to introduce them now, joining us from other satellite studios. Let's start first with our neighbors to the north. Well, technically they're both to the north, but let's start with the Great White North. Our sister is joining us from INCRadio Canada. Please introduce yourself, sister.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I think that voice, they know me already, Kuya RJ. Yes, but of course, I want to introduce you myself po. I'm your sister Mason Miguel from the local congregation of North York, Ecclesiastical District of Greater Toronto. Hello, hello to all our listeners and viewers right now po. And back to you, Kuya RJ.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. We do have another guest from another satellite. Just like I said, both are neighbors to the north. This one's a little closer to us. But brother, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time it is there. We hope you're having a great time. I'm Brother Jeffrey Fernandez, coming from the District of New Jersey. So a little bit north, but not quite as far as Atames.
Not quite as far, but maybe just as cold, perhaps sometimes. I've visited New Jersey relatively recently. I have my brother is actually there, so shout out to my brother, local congregation of Wrightstown, as well as my cousin, who is the resident worker there in local of Wrightstown, brother Lester. Shout outs to both of them. But thank you so much for joining us on this somewhat now it's a collaboration of 3 different studios. Thank you so much for joining us. Our for today's episode is getting out of your comfort zone. So first of all, what is comfort zone? Like, what does that mean? What do you find? How would you define a comfort zone? And then how would you could define your personal comfort zone? We just start with you. What do you think?
All right, like I like to think of a comfort zone as a comforter zone. Like you're in your bed, you're cozy, you're safe, it's familiar. You're in your bummy clothes, your pambahay clothes. You don't have to dress up, you don't have to have your guard up. It's your regular everyday surroundings where you're just able to kick back. Things are familiar and things are safe. You feel comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. Those words are definitely what I would use as well. Comfort obviously is already in the name, but I like your use of the word safe and familiar. That's how I would also define comfort zone, and that's how I see my comfort zone. It's something very familiar to me, safe and less risky, so to speak. I guess. Atamaze, would you add to that? How would you add to what a comfort zone is?
Yeah, just like you said, Kuya and Kuya Arjun, Kuya Jeff, but I can also say just my quiet place. There you go. Aside safe and comfort, my quiet place that no one can distract me, bother me, Kuya.
For sure. Yeah. A quiet place, like your peace, like your
Peace.
place you where you feel safe. Again, it's kind of adding to that. Um, I also kind of think comfort zone could also be like not your surroundings, but also your experiences, even things like food, like what you want to eat, your appetite, your choice of food. Um, like see, a lot of people think that, well, I'll admit, I'll even say it too. I'm a picky eater, but it's also my comfort. Like I know what I like and I know what I'll get. For example, and people, my family and friends have always fond of me for this. My comfort zone is chicken tenders. So like when you go to a restaurant, if I don't know what's there, if it's a new place or I'm scared to try something new or I'm not in the mood to try something new, most restaurants have chicken tenders, and that's comfort where I know you can't really mess up chicken tenders as much, right? Um, would you? What about you guys? Do you have a favorite comfort food, so to speak? I guess too. Yeah, anyone.
That's
Yeah, that's
really
fine.
hard to
Ladies first.
tell. Kuya Jeff, you go first. For
Ah,
me, Kuya, it's really hard for me that a comfort food for me, it depends actually.
or are you okay like eating whatever? You don't really have a
No,
picky appetite.
but mostly Kuya RJ. Sometimes I want the sweets, but if sometimes if I can find those, I'll go with coffee. That's it.
Mm,
Coffee, and then but usually it's coffee, my comfort one, Kuya. But for foods, maybe soup or veggies.
those- that just
Yeah,
yeah
soup.
sounds comfortable. Like on a
Yes.
nice cold day, just like in like how Kuya Jeff said in your pambahay clothes and just eating soup or drinking coffee. That's great. What about you, Kuya Jeff?
I think almost one of the definitions of comfort or comfort food is the food that you're used to at home. So for a lot of us, that's rice, although lately not
Oh
so
yeah,
much. But like you said, chicken
Yeah.
tenders, chicken wings. Here in America, I think you would say it's like chicken soup would be one. And I think one of the iconic comfort foods, or the iconic, like, this is everyone's safe space, is vanilla ice cream. You would say plain
Yeah.
vanilla.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I was looking through the chat to see who else
Wow.
was saying ice cream, and a lot of people were saying ice cream. I see brother Mike Blash
Wh-
from Charlotte, and
Why, Kuya RJ? Why me? I don't like ice cream.
you don't like ice cream like at all?
Yeah, but I don't know. Even though it's really summer here, right? I can see a lot of people like this, like that. Because no, maybe just no. I don't know. I don't like it. Not much. I'm not a ice
I
cream
I
fan.
understand. No worries. We're not here to judge anyone else's comfort for their tastes. That is pretty surprising to me, though. I have heard some people just don't like ice cream in general, so I understand.
It's
But
okay, more
okay,
for
what
us.
about exactly? Offer. I get to go. I usually, when I go to the restaurants, I usually do get like a second helping of ice cream. But I digress. Let's talk about more about the comfort zone. When was the last time you recall breaking out of your comfort zone? Was it like an experience, or like trying something new? Kuya Jeff, when was the last time that you broke out of your comfort zone?
Actually, it's happened quite a lot over the past couple of years. Recently, we've been on the hunt for a house, so that's something I've never done before. Very uncomfortable, and also known to be a very stressful activity. And then before that is international travel. I mean, you know, my fiance at the time and now wife is from across the world, and that was one of the things that her parents needed for me to go visit them, for me to go visit her, and you know I wasn't familiar. Like, it's a different place, a different language. I don't speak Tagalog that well. Where she's from is a third across the world, so I've never traveled alone by myself on a plane. What if I don't know? What if I get lost? That's what came into play. So that was a huge one that came for me.
I think that's a great answer too, and one that I can relate to as well. Granted, I mentioned before we got on air, my fiance is also in Canada, British Columbia. Hi, sister Elaine. I think she's watching. I know that it's not as far as for you in comparison, but same kind of situation. It was my first time being in Canada before, so that was a fun experience. Being out of my comfort zone, such that too. But when you mentioned not knowing Tagalog as well, I want to shout out brother Andrew Wynn, who was in the chat earlier, saying I break out of my comfort zone every time I try to pronounce "nung" in Tagalog. NG. I know it's very hard, but shout out to brother Andrew. He's always, I think it's actually very admirable when everyone tries to learn another language. Because not only is it getting out of a zone, but it allows you to be put into other zones, like to communicate with everyone and expand your circles, so to speak. What about you, Maze? When was the last time maybe not the last time, or a time you can remember at least, breaking out of your comfort zone?
Kuya, sometimes I sometimes for me because I'm alone here because my family is away, so I'm really alone here, right? So and sometimes I wanna. There are times that I really wanted to just stay here in my apartment. I don't wanna go out. I really don't know, Kuya, but if I feel that way, Kuya, I said to myself, I don't want to stay here. I know I want me po I have this fight this feeling because if I'm staying this is my comfort zone and just not do nothing, I said no. I want to go outside. I want to explore even though I'm by myself, even though I'm alone here. I can even eat outside in the restaurant just me by myself that I don't have any company is because sometimes really even though I have friends here it's really hard to bother them, right po, but for me po really Kuya RJ, it's really hard for me po, when is the last time because there were times that you know I just want to stay in my room just by myself, right? But if I feel that way or felt that way po Kuya, I'm trying my best to get out from my comfort zone po. That's why I don't wanna, to stress inside by myself.
No, I completely understand because yeah, like you like to be inside. It sounds like, but like you've mentioned, sometimes it can get stressful when you're too much inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's good
Exactly.
to hear that you're actively trying to break that and putting yourself out there, going outside, having experiences. I think that's similar to my answer too. Is the maybe not the last time I recall breaking out of my comfort zone, but the one that really thought came to my mind. I used to live in California, and when I was there, I wasn't with much family. So the Kadiwa there, for those who are watching, Kadiwa are those who are in the church 18 and above, not married yet. They really welcomed me and like invited me out all the time. Even though the first couple of times I was like, no, it's okay. I'll just, I'm fine. Or I would come up with some excuse. They would never give up. Keep inviting me. And so that helped me come out to the point where now I'm always asking them, okay, what's the next thing we're doing? So they helped me in breaking out of my comfort zone too, and breaking out of my shell, so to speak. I honestly think I really found out who I was as a person when I was living
Mm-hmm.
there. Yeah, and good friends can do that for you.
Exactly,
Um,
Kuya. That's true.
yeah, is there anything else helps you break out of your comfort zone? What's I don't know if it's like by force, like necessity, needing to. Like Jeff, like you said, like with your experience of with your fiance, it's not necessarily by force, so to speak, of course, but it was out of necessity. Would you say that that's a big factor of helping you break out of your comfort zone, or what would it be for you?
Oh, 1,000%. There was that sense of urgency where, and it came to the point where she's like, "Look, you're either gonna come visit my parents, come visit me, and come visit my family, or we're gonna have to break up, and that's it." So it's that sense of urgency where it's that sink or swim. You know, um, is it really important, and how important is it to you, and how important is it to grow? So definitely.
Yeah, and sometimes because I like the terminology you mentioned, sink or swim, because it's like a not only is it necessary to get out of your comfort zone, I would think sometimes it's necessary to stay within your comfort zone. It's one of the things we mentioned when we defined it was safe, right? Sometimes the comfort zone will save you from opportunities or experiences that you shouldn't go through. Trusting your instinct or trusting what is good for you. So I would say that sometimes comfort zone is a good thing. You don't always have to break it, but it's also just good to experience new things. Um, okay, but when it comes to because we're talking about getting out of it anyway, that's our topic for today. When was a time you found it difficult to break out of your comfort zone? And not to amaze, you kind of already mentioned it's always difficult for you. um, well, how else would you describe a time difficult for you to break out of your comfort zone?
Um, it's for me, well, me because I'm alone, it's really sometimes really difficult to break that comfort zone because you know, it's sometimes really good you have a company to ride to
Mhm.
overcome that one, but sometimes if you're breaking it alone, Kuya, and I'm just going outside, feels like I want somebody. Already I'm already out. And I want somebody. If I can't reach anybody to help me to help me in my comfort zone or for my feeling that way, I just go to grab some food. That's how I'm gonna do it. Coffee
Hey,
again,
that's
Kuya,
fun.
even though it's really hot weather, coffee again.
Coffee
Yeah,
Ah, then
always.
you go for
Yeah.
iced coffee.
always. Just
Yeah,
coffee.
there's iced coffee too. Do you like
No,
okay,
just
okay, little
hot coffee,
tangent.
Kuya. Not iced
I'm
coffee.
gonna say I was gonna say tangent here. Is it iced coffee or coffee? Does it make a difference? Are you team iced coffee or team coffee? Hot coffee. My mom always gets coffee no matter what temperature it is outside. But what about you, Kuya Jeff? Then, what was the time you found it difficult to break out of your comfort zone?
I would say honestly, and everyone experiences it. It's the everyday. Like you wake up, oh, I got to go to work. Oh, I need to do this. I need to do my chores, and then it just ends up eating your whole day. And then, sometimes you have that opportunity to go out and do something, or you tell yourself, oh, I'm so busy, or I have to prepare for something tomorrow. So, it's we face it every day, that choice to stay in our comfort zone or do something. And like you said, sometimes it's good. Sometimes you really have to hunker down, take care of things at home. But sometimes you have that question like, should I go out and do something? or should I just focus on my tasks at hand or my chores? And yeah, it's the every day.
I I completely agree with that one. You kind of like opened my eyes a little bit here to realize that my comfort zone is literally in my everyday life because I found out I've become a person of routine. Like I do the same thing over and over and over again, almost to the point where I remember this back in my one of my old jobs. I went to break the same time, ate the same food at the same time, and like literally every single thing was almost like rinse, lather, repeat, so to speak, right? And yeah, it became so comfortable. It's what I knew. It's what I knew it worked. You know, there was the whole saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I didn't think it was broken. But not to say that it was bad either for me to stick with that. But when I finally did kind of start changing my routines, even recently actually too, my fiance told me, she said, "You've been a lot more productive lately." Like I was doing other things besides my regular routine, and I was like, "Oh yeah, huh?" And it feels good. It feels good to know that we're doing that. But I want to give some shout outs here to the chat here of who's commenting here. I'm seeing a lot of purple, and if you're from the District of Virginia, that only means one thing. That means Norfolk. Norfolk is in the chat. I see them all around. I see their resident minister there as well, Brother Andrew. Shout out both Kai Andrew. Kai Andrew knows what I mean by shouting out my previous local congregation of Fairfield because he was also from there. Different time as me, but he understands what I mean by the Kiddi are uh, very loving, very welcoming, and helpful of breaking out of your comfort zone. I also see shout outs to Radio again. I see Ate Jonah is here with us as well in the chat. Ate Mason is waving.
Hi,
Thank you,
Ate
Ate Jonah, for
Jonah.
joining. I also want to shout out two locals that are celebrating their anniversaries. From Doug Christian in the chat saying, shout out to all the brethren as we celebrate 13th year anniversary of the establishment of the local congregation of Huntsville, Alabama. And I also know, I saw some in the chat from Brother Andrew, but I already know as well that it's also the 16th anniversary of High Point, North Carolina. So shout outs to both of those local congregations and all the brethren there. And glory be to God for another year of success and victories, not just in your local, but in our district and in the church. Okay, so let's go back to our conversation last year. What do you think? Let's go to the root of everything and why our comfort zones are the way they are. Do you think there's a reason your comfort zone was formed the way it was? What do you think?
Definitely the basic need for safety. You want to be somewhere where things are familiar. You're able to control it. You want to feel safe, and you also want to be able to kind of like let your guard down. So there's definitely that. And then also part of that is, your things that you're exposed to on the regular daily basis, your home, your family, these things are comfortable. These things are regular. You know how to deal with them. You don't have to, have your fight or flight up. So yeah, those are, I would say that's what puts you in the comfort zone.
Yeah, definitely. Atamis, would you add to anything like that? What would you say is anything that made your comfort zone the way it is? Like you already mentioned multiple times, you like to stay in. Would you say that there was some sort of experience or anything that happened that I don't want to go too much to your mind per se, but what would you say is a factor that helped form your comfort zone the way it is? Do you just always enjoy staying inside?
Staying out from my comfort zone quite really helped me to go, to prove that I can do it by myself without even though if my family they are really far away or my friends if you can read. So that's really good for me for to help me just to stand it on my own, whatever might come to me, right? But Kuya, if you need to, if you even though if you're staying to your comfort zone or even if you're going to break your comfort zone, at least you can do it and be strong enough with yourself. Just parang you can accomplish to yourself that you did it on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, and that way po, it can motivate you how really brave you are, strong you are, by yourself in this place, in this country po, Kuya. Because sometimes it's really hard if you're really far away to your family po. And it's really good also to have your family or your close friends beside you during that times. But sometimes I want to do it on my own, so that because you can't depend always with them po, right po. So I want to do it in
Mhm.
that way po.
Yeah, no, I agree with that a lot fully. I agree with I think my comfort zone too is kind of based on that too. Is like I've no know to do something, and I also sometimes I am in that mode where I don't want to bother other people and like say like, oh, I can do it. You can you can just support me from the sidelines and things like that. But anyways, we are approaching the end of our episode. We can really go on forever with this conversation and keep talking, especially with such great speakers as well as my guests. But I do want to let you have opportunities to shout out anyone you'd like to shout out, and also plug in your satellite studios. Kuya Jeff, I know yours I think was already earlier today, but you can share your shout outs and where can they find INC Radio New Jersey in the future.
All right, we are actually moving to a new time. So first of all, much love and thanks to the District of Virginia, and check us out in the District of New Jersey every Saturday at 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time. So, and I think we're moving to being a 45-minute show. And also check us out when we have a mashup with New York, which we had one today. And all right, be there. And greetings to our District Minister, Brother Alex Reyes, our Assistant District Minister, Brother Ruben Bustos Jr., our CFO Organization Overseer, Brother Bernard Cruzon, and our District Multimedia Advisor, Brother Royal Moline. And shout out and greetings also to INC Radio Zone Sister Leia Fajardo de Guzman, it was her birthday recently, and also to my wife's sister Marianne over here in Locala Bergen. And of course, greetings to our beloved brother Angelo Ranyu Vimanala.
Thank you so much, Kuya Jeff, again. Dr. Mays, what about you? Special greetings, and then where can they find INC Radio Canada?
Yes po, Kuya. But before that, just want to say big thank you po for inviting me and us, rather, Kuya RJ. And thank you to all the crew of INC Radio Virginia po. Keep it up po. And I really love your topic for today. And of course po, please tune in INC Radio Canada later on. 8 o'clock in the evening is standard time. And our topic tonight is all about maintaining good habits po. So please tune in po 8 o'clock INC Radio Canada. And of course, greetings to all the brethren here in the Ecclesiastical District of Greater Toronto, especially to Carola Dalia, our District Minister, as well as Casidinia, our Assistant District Minister, and of course, hello po to Clark Aquino, our CFO Overseer, and our Resident Minister, Joanna Pita po, and all the brethren here in Greater Toronto and all here across Canada po. Hi, and hello to all. And thank you again po, Kuya RJ.
Thank you so much again. Please be sure to watch their episodes as well to support. And thanks for joining us on our program. Before we close out, again, our special greetings to our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo Vimanalo, and our CFO Coordinator and SEPSI President and CEO, Brother Angelo Orano Manalo, and then also to our District Minister, Brother Stephen Asensio, our Assistant District Minister, Brother June Hernandez, District CFO Overseer, Brother Melvin Bayanguan, our District Multimedia Advisor, Brother Enzo Malapit, our executive producer, Kuya Manuel Ayala, and our Kuya Tex, and our INC Radio family, including those in New Jersey and Canada. And of course, to all of you watching, thank you so much. And just like New Jersey has a new time, we will have a new brothers and sisters and beloved guests. INC Radio Virginia starting next week will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So please mark your calendars, set your alarms, don't miss out on another episode. But for now, keep tuning in for INC Radio Seattle. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, everybody.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thanks.